Africa. And America. And you saw slavery. Thank you.
Today, to hear the best of Zaire's music, you don't have to go to Africa. You can stay in Europe, and the musicians will come to you. In a Paris nightclub, Papa Wemba sings The Slave, his tribute to those who have died in the struggle for black civil rights. If you're in Brussels and you want the latest recordings of African music, this is the place to come. Musica Nova in Matonge, an arcade named after the quarter of Kinshasa, which is famous for its music. These visitors are members of Zaire's most popular youth orchestra, Zaiko Langa Langa. They're in Belgium to earn some money with a concert tour, to do some shopping, and to record their latest music with facilities far superior to those back home. In Europe, the music of Zaire is usually referred to as Soukous. Though strictly speaking, Soukous is just one of many dances invented by Zairean musicians. Typically, the music begins with a love song to the rhythm of a slow rumba, then changes to this faster section using short phrases repeated over and over. Essentially, this is music to dance to. For African musicians, the colonial connection with Europe has made Paris and Brussels places of pilgrimage. Though they must be always on their guard against exploitation, here they can take advantage of European expertise in recording and marketing and experiment with the latest technology. In Brussels, a computer provides Princess Mancia with a supplementary backing group. Today, Kinshasa, the capital of Zaire, has a population of more than 3 million. and some of the most difficult living conditions in Africa. Few houses have plumbing. Every month, 5,000 people die of malaria. 500 die of AIDS. 50% of young people never reach the age of 18. Moonlighting and black marketeering are rife in a city where the average wage for a family of 6 is £40 a month. In this depressing situation, music serves a double purpose. It helps people forget their problems. And although being a musician is regarded as a low form of life, it offers one of the few opportunities for young people to earn a living. Wenge Musica, a band comprised of university students, take as their theme the virtue of being always clean and presentable, the Kinshasa version of Bon Chic, Bon Genre.
Sur jeunesse, pourquoi aimer la opère pour dédier n'aime pas beaucoup, aimer la zalaka, aimer publicité, puis tout petit carapé sur la musique c'est un orchestre de jeunes, et c'est des jeunes qui sont chics, qui ont un bon genre, ils sont éduqués, c'est des étudiants, c'est pas des musiciens de la rue quoi, ça veut dire. Alors on se dit bon chic, bon genre.
Oui, quand on dit bon chic, bon genre, c'est seulement au niveau de la mentalité ou de l'habillement ou de la
mentalité, de l'habillement aussi. Bon, vous avez vu, ici, il y a le musée, c'est toujours aussi, qui sont bien habillés.
In Belgian times, Matonge was known as the African Quarter, a poor section of the city where white people rarely ventured. Today it is the most vibrant and exciting part of Kinshasa, and it has a great sense of style. The musical life of Matonge is unique in Africa, perhaps in the world. There are more than 300 bands in this one area, and their music sings out over Matonge 24 hours a day. Unfortunately, though local success may bring a musician temporary good fortune, it won't earn him a pension. And because of piracy, he has little chance of living off royalties on his record sales. One of the greatest of early pioneers of Zairean music, Joseph Kabasele, died penniless. His funeral expenses were paid by the president. Sadly, Kabasele's famous contemporary, Antoine Wendo, seems set for the same fate. Now in his 70s, he's virtually destitute.
Ah, yango wana. Balobaka yoza papa ya musique zaïroise moderne. Oko exception ndenge nini obandaki musique na yo?
Ya bakisi biso te yali te ngai na ndenge na ngai. Tango guitare sese koya. Alors na oti na ndoto mama na ngai na ndoto. alobi na kopesa vie na yo oyo kovivre na mokili kaka guitare nga eloko nini guitare alo nake na vie ntango wana toye na ndako moko babenga ngo aboye auditorium moni alo munde wana ayi na guitare tomoni basinga ebele tobandi kutu kokama tobi me oyo eloko nini ya ndenge oyo bapesi ngai yango numéro 1 oyo abeti guitare ezalaki ndenge ngai mpo ayemba na sur disque ya ndenge ngai satukone koyekola yango bele ngai moko naki na maître moko te.
The first problem facing young musicians is where to find the instruments to practice on. Like Wendo, the members of Ties can't afford to buy them, so they depend on the patronage of the man who imports them. He, in return, insists on owning their music over a period of years. Unlike Wendo, they have no intention of staying in Kinshasa. Their ambition is to go to Paris, like Papa Wemba. The top bands play at night in the clubs. The others play in the street. This is Odeon, a group with a strong element of folklore and known for the raunchiness of their songs and dances. In the street, music comes free. The musicians get their money through being sponsored by drink manufacturers. The clubs charge a small entry fee, but again, the bands who play in them get most of their money through sponsorship, usually by beer companies, who cultivate the competition between bands and help define their character. Early Saturday evening, and shock stars play the warm-up at Madison Square, a lament for a lover who was gone off to live in Europe.
Apeti
The Kimpwanza is home ground for Zaiko, who are sponsored by Skol Lager, but they're away in Europe, and their club has been taken over by the rival group Anti-Shock, sponsored by Castel. The song is about the problems of going bald. On the outskirts of Matonge, close to the highway, Primus Beer have opened a new venue and invited Chala Mwana to top the bill for the Saturday evening show. Each band has its faithful supporters, and the bands compete with each other to invent new dances, like the Kwasa Kwasa, first performed by this group with its giant and dwarf double act, Ompie Bakuba. The leader is Pepe Kale.
Massas calculé. Bon, il y a eu sous-marin, on nageait. C'est avec le main, on danse avec les mains comme à la nage. Et après, il y a eu Kwasa Kwasa que vous connaissez. Kwasa Kwasa. Et maintenant, il y a une autre version que nous sommes en train de danser dans l'orchestre. C'est Ah, mama, mandae, kumbanga na poto. Ah, Pepe Kaleo, kumbanga na poto. Ah, maman nini, kumbanga na poto. Donc, c'est-à-dire, c'est à la manière d'un avion qui conduit quelqu'un en Europe.
The clubs in Matonge start up around 10 in the evening, but it's a slow start. It's usually 3 in the morning before things really get going, and then the music will continue till dawn. In Zaire today, the traditional African praise song has taken on a new form, the so-called political animation. Early every Monday morning, every company in the country is obliged to parade its employees in the street to sing the praises of the president-founder, Mobutu Sese Seko. These are the staff of the Kinshasa Intercontinental Hotel. Zaire is not a democratic country. It has a single political party, the Mouvement Populaire de la Révolution. As chief of the MPR, Mobutu has unquestioned power, which he has enjoyed since his army coup in 1965, 5 years after independence. When Zaire, or the Belgian Congo as it then was, achieved independence in 1960, the occasion was celebrated in Kinshasa, then called Leopoldville, with music by Joseph Kabasele, Le Grand Kali, one of the first great stars of African popular music. Kabasele's music had grown out of Caribbean, mainly Cuban music, which had been imported in the 40s and 50s and transformed into the African rumba by railway construction workers. Since Cuban music had been based on the music of slaves from the Congo and Angola, this was African music coming home again, with a little Latin flavor added. The euphoria which greeted independence was short-lived. The Belgians had done little to prepare the Congolese for self-rule, and within days, the country was in chaos.
Belgian paratroops are still in Leopoldville, trying to protect their own people against the bitter hostility of the Congolese, who have one slogan: there will be no peace until the Belgians have gone. In such an atmosphere, Britain's General Alexander and his United Nations detachment have a difficult enough job. But everyone welcomes them and waits anxiously for more to arrive. The Belgian units are leaving as fast as the United Nations troops come in, taking with them memories they will not forget in a hurry of the fellow countrymen they came to protect, who are still streaming out of the Congo with little more than their lives. Whether the blame lies with African recklessness or with Belgian folly, or both, the sooner the United Nations is in control, the better for the Congo and the world.
For 5 years, the civil war was to preoccupy the United Nations, line the pockets of foreign mercenaries, and result in the death of many thousands of innocent people, until General Mobutu put an end to the bloodshed by imposing his own military government. It is easy to criticize Mobutu for his dictatorial rule, but his achievement in forging unity among some 400 different tribes in a country the size of Europe was remarkable. The army and the secret police were the basis of his power, but the key to his success was cultural, not military. Inspired by events in China, Mobutu launched his own cultural revolution. On TV, he announced to an astonished audience that the country was now Zaire, not the Congo. The capital, Kinshasa, not Leopoldville. They must change their Christian names for African ones. And as in the French Revolution, address each other as citoyen and citoyenne. The name he gave to his revolution was authenticity.
What Mobutu told the people was that when the Belgians came, one of the things they did was breaking all our cultural background. Yeah, they convinced people that everything that we had before, it was just kind of bullshit. And Mobutu said, no guys, from today, you must know that what we had before was fantastic. Yes, it was fantastic. But we're not trying to go back to those things. We're going to try to learn them so that we can use them to survive in this system, in the modern system.
C'est que beaucoup de gens ont confondu entre le retour et le recours. Que avant, quand le président fondateur avait proclamé l'authenticité, c'était le retour. Mais or, après, il a vu que c'était une horreur, on ne pouvait pas vraiment retourner à l'authenticité vraiment quoi. Porter des raffias, avoir des maisons en argile ou comment non, mais c'était le recours à l'authenticité. Et pour moi, et pour le peuple zaïrois, c'était très important parce qu'on avait une personnalité. Nous avons abandonné des noms d'emprunt, donc des prénoms catholiques. Moi, avant, je m'appelais Jules. Mais après, c'était terminé, quoi.
Franco, the country's most famous musician, quickly changed his name to Lokanga Lanju Pene Luambo Makiadi. Franco was the musician to benefit most from the early days of authenticity, and the patronage of a president whose aims Franco set out to explain to the people with his music. In his hands, the dance music of Zaire was to reach a peak of virtuosity and excitement.
Franco didn't study music at all, but one day he just grabbed a guitar and he invented what we call in Zaire the Sebene. And the Sebene is really the starting point of what we call today Soukous. You take a phrase and you repeat the phrase till it becomes like hypnotic, till you get dizzy.
Moi, je vois que la musique africaine est plus mieux que la musique européenne. Oui, je m'explique. La musique européenne, c'est quoi? C'est... Vous commencez à chanter, vous rentrez dans le refrain, terminé. C'est fini. Parfois, il y a 2 temps. Mais nous faisons parfois 3, 4, 5 temps.
Till the early 80s, we didn't have any foreign music in Zaire. Nothing on the radio, or no. It was strictly Zairean music. And that's how the groups like Zaire and Papa Wemba, they're so strong somewhere and so they sound so different with no influence from Latin music or Western music. You really feel that they were working in a closed system. And that's why I think somewhere it was very positive.
Unlike Mao's cultural revolution, Mobutu's did not require townspeople to migrate to the countryside, but it made use of tribal traditions to promote a sense of national unity and cultural pride. And musicians were encouraged to turn to folklore in search of their inspiration. At the same time, Mobutu was consolidating his power by modeling his presidency on the institution of tribal chief. On the 20th anniversary of the founding of the MPR, Mobutu was welcomed to Kinshasa in the manner of a great chief being welcomed to a jungle village.
Nous chanterons et danserons l'authenticité.
Not content with being president or chief, Mobutu became a god. This is the nightly closed-down transmission of Zaire television. Not surprisingly, few people have ever criticized Mobutu in public. Even from the relative safety of Europe, any criticism of the leopard, as he is known to his people, must be couched in the gentlest satire.
Oyo mona kazare mabe azana oyo ali azana oyo alinge katankuli tangwa keibokera bisonyo soto kovanganiye kasi tango hakuzongana nako kasmangkumi alingika kai azana oyo alinge
April the 21st, 1989, the 22nd anniversary of the founding of the MPR. At the Cathedral of Notre Dame in Kinshasa, political animation sets the scene for the arrival of a senior politician. Nowadays, the president is rarely seen in Kinshasa, preferring to spend his time in his village or in Europe. Nevertheless, the dancing is for Mobutu and his wife alone, and it is always richly rewarded with presidential favors. The occasion shows, as might be expected, that there are limitations to authenticity. Culturally, the ritual is an impressive, if slightly bewildering mixture of old and new, African and European.
Le détachement d'honneur a rangé pour vous accueillir et vous rendre les honneurs à l'occasion du 22e anniversaire du mouvement populaire de la Révolution Parti-État. Je vous invite à passer les détachements en revue. Le commandant de détachement, lieutenant Pelela Mongengo. À vos ordres.
The Catholic Church was outraged by Mobutu's ban on Christian names. But in their efforts to build their congregations, they were soon to devise their own version of authenticity, a mass in Lingala, and traditional music, like that which in former times had been used to summon the ancestor spirits. Where foreign missionaries had plundered and destroyed, Mobutu sought to rebuild. Authenticity meant rediscovering the African cultural heritage, and official encouragement was given to the revival of tribal music and dance, much of which had been in danger of disappearing.
They don't think music, they think it's a social game where every member of the tribe has a place of his own, and that's the purpose of the game, to find one's place in the society.
In the early 70s, Ray Lema was appointed director of the Zaire National Dance Company. It gave him a unique opportunity to travel the country and study its music.
Those people who play that traditional music, they're masters. They've been playing that for centuries. And when you try to transpose that thing on modern instruments, it's not that easy, because you have to take apart chords. And watching the whole picture now in the traditional area, I noticed that no one ever goes even with more than 2 fingers. And that's how I came to my style of playing piano today. I just play notes. I never pluck really chords like this. Where, for example, the tune would be this progression of one of my tunes I play on stage. But I could never play it like this for Zaireans. For Zaireans, I played it's just a matter of they need everything to be separate and to take its place.
Moni Mambo is a song about a legendary hero adventurer, reincarnated by Ray Lema as the modern jet setter commuting between Africa and Europe. Papa Wemba, musician and film star, now lives in Paris. 3 years ago, he and his fashion-conscious disciples founded the Sapeur, the Society of Ambiances and Persons of Elegance. The Sapeur have their own religion, Kitende. They have their own pope and high priests, and their own hymn, which sings the praises of whichever fashion designers are currently in favor. The Sapeur 10 Commandments list a code of behavior which defines, among other things, 8 ways of walking. Their temples are the exclusive houses of high fashion. This, perhaps, is their Vatican, the Paris headquarters of Jean-Paul Gaultier.
Kitende, linge. Linge, ouais. Ah oui. Non, mais il faut aimer tout d'abord. Il faut aimer pour être sapeur, quoi. Quand on n'aime pas, on ne peut pas, quoi. Il faut l'aimer tout d'abord. Il faut casquer énormément d'argent pour se vêtir, quoi.
Faut flasher.
Ah ouais, faut flasher, quoi. Ah, ouais. Non, ouais, c'est moi qui lançais ces mouvements et la jeunesse zaïroise, congolaise, ivoirienne, patati patata, a suivi, quoi. Parce que je me suis dit, il faudra que je sors un peu de l'ordinaire, parce que tous les chanteurs faisaient pareil, quoi. Pour moi, je me suis dit, il faudra que je trouve un truc qui va flasher tout le monde, quoi, qui va flasher la jeunesse, quoi. J'ai trouvé un look à moi. Et j'ai amené la jeunesse zaïroise à aimer la sape. Quand je dis bien coiffé, bien parfumé, bien rasé et bien habillé, c'est de la pure propreté que je suis en train d'exiger à cette jeunesse, quoi.
With Papa Wemba living in Paris, the mantle of King of Sapeur in Kinshasa has passed to Emanea, leader of the band Victoria Eleison. When the crew arrived for filming, the band had lost their amplifiers, a common occurrence in Kinshasa, where equipment is so scarce it has to be shared. Not to be defeated by this setback, they decided to mime to their latest record, playing in the shop behind.
Un sapeur, c'est quelqu'un qui se met debout. C'est quelqu'un qui se met debout. Alors celui qui n'est pas sapeur, c'est celui qui est assis, qui n'a pas de l'allure. Que nous appelons communément ici un taureau. Un rescapé, un condamné à mort.
Bien, est-ce que vous pouvez expliquer assez clairement tout ça? Ça m'a l'air d'un langage d'initié.
Moi, personnellement, on m'appelle Titi de Valois, le pape de la sape. Le pape, bon, ma foi, c'est une religion. C'est-à-dire, pour nous, la sape actuellement, on peut définir ça comme un mouvement. C'est-à-dire un mouvement comme le mouvement des Rasta, le mouvement de punk. Alors, ce mouvement est lié à la musique. Vous savez, par exemple, chez nous, ici à Kinshasa, un musicien qui ne soigne pas très bien son look, quand il passe, par exemple, à une émission de télévision, donc, la première chose, c'est de voir la façon qu'il est habillé. Si vraiment il est mal habillé, c'est qu'il n'est pas considéré, malgré qu'il joue très bien sa musique.
Vous habillez cher quand même.
Ma foi, vous savez, quand on est à Paris, ma foi, on a quand même, on a aussi des sous. Hein. Des fois, on fait un petit job par-ci par-là, et puis avec cet argent, on peut s'acheter des trucs qui coûtent un peu cher.
Il est super. C'est une paire londonienne, docteur Martins, c'est tout un docteur Martins. Pour les chaussettes, ça en Nicole, c'est Machuda, c'est écrit. Nicole, c'est Machuda. Oui. Alors, ici, ça, Boy London, c'est écrit Boy London. C'est Nicole, Machuda, chemise Machuda, pantalon Yoji.
Eza pona lokumu ou bien vous en avez souci mosusu?
Eza pona lokumu ya biso na Zaire et puis pona spins pe mususu pona kolakisa ba jeune gens oyo bayebi kolata te po bayeba kolata pe kosape na kati ya se.
Well-groomed, clean, fashionably dressed, Lino stars fulfill the stringent demands of sapperdom. And they're the latest hot property on the streets of Kinshasa, with a new disc at the top of the local charts. There is a record industry in Kinshasa, but the infrastructure is primitive compared with that in Europe. Musicians like Soukous say it's the lack of serious investment here that drives them into the hands of foreign producers.
Cet investissement dans le secteur musical, c'est très important, mais les gens chez nous, ils ne voient pas ça. Ce qui est aberrant, c'est quoi? Chez nous, les gens s'intéressent plus à faire des affaires dans des secteurs déjà pollués, comme le transport, l'hôtellerie et tout ça, mais ils ne s'occupent pas de la musique.
Mais ils aiment la musique.
Ils aiment la musique, ils ne s'occupent pas de la musique, ils trouvent que la musique n'est pas rentable. C'est une erreur monumentale. Voilà, nous sommes obligés maintenant de brader notre musique pour rien. Puisque nous n'avons pas de moyens, nous avons affaire à n'importe quel producteur, nous nous confions à eux. C'est juste pour quelques 10 000 francs français, l'artiste zaïrois trouve son compte. Puisque chez lui, on ne lui offre rien. Alors, si par exemple l'artiste zaïrois a de la chance de rencontrer un producteur étranger qui essaye de l'encadrer, ça crée tout un problème de polémique. Ah voilà, faute de grive. On mange des merdes, ce n'est pas de notre faute.
Le seul handicap que nous avons, nous zaïrois, nous musiciens zaïrois, il n'y a pas de bons studios chez nous. Il n'y a pas de bonnes usines chez nous. Il n'y a rien. Il n'y a pas de magasins qui nous vendent de matériel. Même pas de fil de guitare, même pas de baguette. Il n'y en a pas. Mais autrement, il y a des talents.
Facilities in Kinshasa have recently been improved by a gift of the president. A 24-track studio controlled by the man who has done more than anyone to foster and at the same time benefit from the talent of young musicians, Kiamangwana Berkis.
Every time he buys news, that makes me cry. Daily news, a bloodshed in South Africa. Daily news, famine in Ethiopia. Daily news.
Berkis is now preoccupied with the problem of how to invade an international market, which he sees as dominated by the French.
Vous savez que, enfin, vous devez savoir que la musique, c'est comme la mafia. Les disques, c'est vraiment la mafia. Pour rentrer dans ce circuit, il faut être très puissant. Parce que il y a le protectionnisme du côté surtout des Français. Les Français, c'est eux qui s'occupent de l'Afrique pour le moment. Par exemple, Côte d'Ivoire, au Cameroun, à Brazzaville, au Gabon, un peu partout, il y a des firmes des sociétés françaises qui envoient les disques en Afrique. Malgré que les musiciens habitent l'Afrique, mais en Afrique, on ne peut pas travailler pour envoyer les mêmes disques en Afrique, on est obligé de passer par l'Europe. Mais non, je sais que ça va être très dur. D'ailleurs, j'ai déjà eu des échos, je sais que je cours aussi un grand danger du côté des producteurs étrangers, par exemple des Français, parce que maintenant on risque de les arracher, n'est-ce pas, des beefsteaks, parce qu'il y a des maisons en France qui ne fonctionnent que grâce à la musique africaine, qui ne font que la musique africaine. Je connais beaucoup de maisons comme ça. Alors, mais moi, dans mon planning, je sais que je dois avoir des points de vente partout en Afrique.
most important question facing all African musicians today is how to broaden the appeal of their music without losing the traditional qualities which have been their strength.
Notre musique zaïroise, disons africaine, la musique de l'Afrique centrale est restée pendant longtemps au parking. Il n'y avait pas un bon son, il n'y avait pas de gimmick, il n'y en avait même pas. Alors, nous, on était connus par une musique qui n'était pas la nôtre. C'était la rumba, en provenance une musique latino-américaine. Alors moi, il fallait normalement rentrer aux sources, c'est-à-dire faire le folklore. Bon, ce folklore-là utilisait un son moderne qui est le synthétiseur. C'est pour ça que, bon, à partir de là, j'ai changé ma musique. Elle est devenue une musique internationale. Le funk, si j'ai introduit le battement funk, c'est parce que avec la rumba, ça ne bouge pas. La rumba, ça ne bouge pas au début. Vous commencez par une musique lente, vous arrivez au refrain, et puis attendre longtemps pour danser, c'était pas bien. Il fallait, dès le début, secouer. Donc dès le début, vous secouez, vous mettez tout le monde en ébullition. C'est ce que j'ai fait. J'ai commencé par... c'est pour ça que j'ai introduit le funk. Le battement funk qui bouge.
Et la musique zaïroise est faite pour la joie. Parce que le peuple zaïrois, c'est le peuple qui danse et qui chante. Vous avez été à Kinshasa, vous avez remarqué que Kinshasa, c'est une ville musicale. Donc, la seule chose qui reste à cette musique, c'est sa promotion sur le plan international. Et il faudra que les musiciens zaïrois comprennent une seule chose, quoi. Qu'il faut suivre l'évolution qui est en train de s'effectuer à travers le monde, quoi. Il ne faut pas rester borné à croire qu'il n'y a que seule la musique zaïroise. Non. Il faut s'y voir ailleurs, quoi. Puisque, en sa définition, c'est que la musique n'a pas de frontières. La musique, c'est universel.
O kanande kona nganjilo shila yomota mama yobo heyema. O kanande kona nganjilo shila yomota nyamya yomizayema. Ono yamilu ono yamilu.
promete ozo